Kevin to join. Today we have another Instagram Live with Kevin Hees. And Kevin, I see you there. Let me see if I can get you in 1 second. All right. Kevin, you should see the invite. Go. Oh, flip your camera. You're sideways, my friend.
Is that okay?
Great to see you.
I'm going to have to hold it then because my tripod only goes one way. Is that okay?
Oh no. Well, you look great anyway. So first of all, let me do a little intro.
Okay.
Is our Thinking of Art call series. It's something that I started in 2020, really to introduce people to artists and creatives from around the world. So far, I think I've done over 50 of these. I think this is number 50. And today I have LA-based artist Kevin Hees. And just a little intro about Kevin. He's an American contemporary artist based in Los Angeles. He specializes in themes that address life's goals. His three great intentions are health, wealth, and happiness, which is something both share as a philosophy in life. You were born in Corpus Christie, Texas. You began your career as a painter, an artist, photographer, brand consultant, producer. You've been working as an artist for most of your entire life, really. And there's a lot more that I could share about Kevin, and we'll just jump right into it at this point. But Kevin, I wanted to welcome you to the Thinking of Art call series and see how you're doing today.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. Busy working. It's never a dull moment here.
Good.
Ever.
So talk about some of the paintings that you're working on right now. I think we see some images in the background. So can you share about your process and your philosophy in painting for those that are watching?
Yeah, sure. So usually everything starts with a thought or a quote, or sometimes it's a song. Sometimes I see something, on television, a show or something. But most of the time it's a word. Like right now, I'm really focused on the word limitless. So I'll create a series of paintings based on that thought process of no limits. So what you're seeing behind me here are the beginning of several paintings that will go with that theme.
Amazing. And those are works on paper, or are those paintings? Can you get...
So basically what happens is I start with, I do a small painting. Actually, I have to show you.
Yeah.
So I'm moving around a lot, so bear with me. So I'll start with the small painting like this. Okay, this is a paper painting. This is acrylic on paper. Then that is then duplicated, and then that is glued to the canvas. Can you see?
Okay, amazing. So how much time does it take you to create one of your larger paintings versus one of your smaller pieces?
So, it's interesting that you asked me that because it's about the same. I find that if I'm doing a 3-foot by 4-foot painting, it takes me just as much time as if I'm doing a 6-foot by 7-foot painting. So, so about the same amount of time. It's the thought. I have to stop and think about what I want to put on the canvas, but the actual time of putting on the canvas is pretty much the same. Now, the two pieces behind you, one is 4.5 feet by 5.5 feet, this one, and the bigger one is 6 feet by 7 feet. So to cover that with paper probably takes me, 2 hours. And it's painted first. So it's a coat of paint, then then the paper is glued on, as you can see, and then I paint over that, and I go to this.
Oh, wow, that's gorgeous.
So after I've done like 3 or 4 coats, or 3 or 4, I would say layers, then I start adding and subtracting.
Okay.
It's quite a process. I find that as I progress as a painter, it takes me longer because there's more detail that I want to put in the paintings. There's more that I want to say in the paintings, and every painting I do is a learning experience. So I learn something new with every single painting I do. I might learn a new technique, or I may splash the paint, a certain way, and I like the way that looks, or it's just always something new to learn. And that's really what's so exciting about painting. And I find that with any art, even as a photographer, every picture that I took, I was learning something new,
So can we backtrack a little bit? Because you started out as a photographer, right? So talk about, because obviously, you have a lot of perspective when it comes to the current photographers out there. So how did you get your start as a photographer years?
Okay, so that's a really good question. So I have to say that I've been interested in art since I was as far back as the 4th grade. And I started shooting pictures really, really young. I'd probably say high school. And then I started modeling. And then as I went around the world as a model, I started shooting my friends who were models. And that's how I got introduced into that whole arena. Then as I started shooting, I wanted more control over my images. So then I started learning hair and makeup. So then I was doing photography and hair and makeup. And then that all went into my 35-year career. Then when the pandemic hit is when I started painting. But there had been a need in me for a long time, probably about, I would say 10 years. There was a need in me to put more meaning to my art. Shooting, I've shot the most famous people, I've shot the most beautiful people, but at the end of the day, when I look at the pictures, I have to ask myself, what does this mean?
Yeah.
What does it mean? I'm putting all this time and effort and my life into all of this work, and there's a need in me to say something more than what I'm doing here. So that became the painting era.
Okay, so in where you are with the paintings, I think it's really intriguing and I wanted to dig into is that you incorporate physics, numerology, universal concepts, spirituality, geometry, and symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
So where did that inspiration really come from? Was it from, the photography, the experiences that you had there? Was it life experiences?
A combination of all of that. I got cancer about 7 years ago, so that was a huge turning point in my life, because it started making me ask myself a lot of questions. What does it mean to be human? That's the underlying theme in all of my paintings. I'm trying to remind people of what it means to be human. I'm trying to inspire people to think about what it means to be human. And so as I go down this journey and I come up with these words like limitless, I don't believe in lack. There's a lot of fear of lack. There's not enough to go around. Okay, well, that's something that I could wrap up an entire exhibition around.
It's a choice.
An entire brand around.
Either choose to live in fear or not. Really.
Me?
It's a choice. Either you can choose to live in fear and continue to be in a state of suffering, or not go in that.
Right. Absolutely. But I think, as I start to research these ideas of what does it mean to be human and what is so profound about the human experience or the human journey, that's where all these ideas and formulas. Here's the thing. I want my paintings to be honest. I want them to be about the truth. I put numbers and equations in my paintings because numbers don't lie. 1 + 1 is 2. The Fibonacci sequence is the Fibonacci sequence. That can't be manipulated or deceived or changed. So what interests me is telling people the truth and starting a deeper conversation through art. I do believe that art can change the world, because all change starts with a rise in consciousness. And how do you raise consciousness? You start a conversation. So if one of my paintings can start a conversation that makes people think in a more profound way and a more grateful way of what it means to be human, then I think that my art is it's what it's supposed to do.
I love that you're talking about this, because when you initially, myself, when I initially saw your work, it was overwhelming to me because there was just so much going on. And as I, really started living with the images and talking to you about it, and, there's a lot of subconscious messaging in your, I think.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, it's like I did a painting called Diamond, and people said, why did you name it Diamond? Well, because there are many facets to a diamond. There are many facets to life, right? There are many layers to life, and a diamond is precious and life is precious. So to me, that all goes together. But when you're looking at the painting, you're just saying, oh, it's a painting, with lots of lines. Here's the thing. Everything that I put on my paintings has a meaning. There is nothing frivolous about anything that I paint or create. at this point in my life. If there's a line, if there's a mark, if there's a word, if there's a symbol, it means something. I'm not just throwing paint on the canvas and then hoping it comes out as a cool abstract. There really is a tremendous amount of thought into everything that I'm writing on that canvas, because I feel like it's an opportunity to tell a story. And ultimately, each painting is a story. Like, I just did a painting called Think Different. Okay, well, all of the images, all the words, all the question marks are to make people think. They're places that I've been that have taught me something. Hopefully they can teach you something. They're ideas or thoughts that have taught me something that I hope will make you think different about life, right? Or I just did a painting called You. It's about the 7 most powerful words used in the English language to persuade people, right? You being the most powerful word in the English language. I thought that was fascinating. So I did a painting about that.
So I know we have a couple of your new works on ArtStation Shop.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. I'm thrilled to have you a part of it and show and share the works with others. There are 2 works. If you guys have a chance to go look at them, they're called Jazzman and Diatonic. So could you talk about that? Because there's one very colorful, and then there's one that's, you know, black and white. And do you talk about your inspiration of both of those works, please?
Diatonic is the black and white. I only did 7 paintings on paper for this particular series about music. I do believe that music has the power to guide you home. Not your home on the outside, but your home on the inside, your silent center, right? The place where you hold your clarity and your insight and your growth, your power, freedom, your creativity. So no matter where I go in the world, Kipton, or what's going on in my life, good or bad, if I put my headset on and I listen to my music, I can always find my way home. And that's really what the music series is about. So both of these paintings, you know, are both about music, and I love jazz. So I wanted to do a jazz man. So it's kind of a self-portrait. It's the color painting. It's kind of a self-portrait, but it's also created out of my love for jazz music. So do you want to see them? I can show them to you quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be, tell me if you can see. So this is,
Okay.
I'm going to try to do this.
You can also flip the camera around. Just push in the lower right-hand corner. You should be able to flip the camera.
Oh, really? Y'all, I'm so new to this, so just kind of bear with me. So this is Jazzman.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's great.
And he's framed, and a black wood frame with the black board, and then it's floated about 1/4 of an inch away. Let me see if I can get a bit away.
Gorgeous. So it's mixed media paint stick on 300-pound Arches paper.
Right.
So yeah, it has a lot of depth to it. You can tell.
So basically what's happening here is that I got the musical notes, and then I kind of manipulate them in the computer, and then I blow them up really big, and I print them, and then I create on top of that. So every circle is a different layer, a different. It's really hard to see, but they're all different musical notes. Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot going on in these paintings.
How much time approximately? I mean, are you able to work on multiple paintings at a time, or do you?
Yeah, I kind of have to, because I have to wait for paint to dry. So if I do one layer, then I have to wait, you know, for it to dry, and then I go from there.
Yeah. No.
And then
were you listening to a particular musician or creating that, a jazz musician, or?
No, just jazz music, and jazz music is very festive and fun, and so I kind of did it colorful, and that was kind of like the whole idea, thought behind it. I'm gonna try to show you the words if I can. Can you see the words at the bottom corner?
Yeah, let me see if I can zoom in on the site too. I should be able to see.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this backwards.
Inspires, empowers, elevates, unites, heals, transcends, narrates.
So those are the 7 words that I chose. I do everything in 7s. So those are the 7 words that I chose that are like what I believe music does for the human experience. So every painting I do will address something about the human experience, whether it be about music or dancing or standing up, stepping forward, speaking out, using your voice, using your vote. Very much
I love
artist rights. So
positivity, Kevin. You're consistently like so positive, and you're
I try to be.
You are. No, you really are. And you know, it's a gift that that our paths crossed and that we're able to work together on this project. And Action Art and Cam and Nick, I just wanted to do a shout out to them.
Yeah.
The introductions and the
My
collaboration.
boys.
Yeah. So it's been, you know, exciting for me to get to know you better. But talk about the other painting as well.
Okay, so this is diatonic.
Okay.
Try this one more time. Okay, is the whole painting in him? Get back here. There we go. Everybody's.
That's
There we
great.
go. Right there.
Zoom in on that one and see what that one says. Close, because you have words in this one too, yeah? Like,
yeah, you know, I use the same 7 words in all the paintings because, you know, it's like if you go and you buy a book, right?
mm-hmm.
You want every book to have all the chapters in it. So for me to not put one message, so I feel frustrated. I put the same message on a series of paintings because I want everybody to have every chapter in the book. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
well, I like that you say in here, you know, music can change the world, dance, soul. What other words do you have here? Gospel.
Yeah, it's a celebration of all kinds of music. I love all kinds of music.
R&B.
Yeah, all of it. I love all of it. There's not a kind. There really isn't a music that I don't, a genre of music I don't like, and I wanted to celebrate that. Mm-hmm. And you know, and then there's my guitar. You see my guitar there?
Yeah. What's the inspiration for the guitar?
Okay, so.
Or do you play?
No, I wish I played. When I was going through my cancer treatment, every day I would take the train, you know, up to the Upper East Side to do the radiation, and so I would listen to this music from this play called Once. It's about the healing power of music. It's about a boy with the guitar, right, and he meets a girl on the street, and then over a 7-day period, they write this demo together, and in writing this music together, they heal each other. Mm-hmm. So I was so moved by this, and I listened to the music every day during my treatment for 10 weeks. And then after it was over with, I called Steve Kazie's agent, and I said, I really want to meet this guy. You know, he really has had a profound effect on my healing experience. And so I met with Steve. And so I bought the guitar for Steve because I was supposed to photograph him. And then he got shameless here in LA, and I moved to LA, and I moved to Palm Springs, so we didn't get to shoot. So I kept the guitar, and I photographed it, and it became... It was the beginning of the music project.
Yeah, because I photos that you also have. I know the paintings, but I think the photography as well that inspired the paintings and that translate really well to the process that you've gone through is beautiful. So what would you say, what advice would you give somebody that, you know, not good headspace, it's, you know, whether it's an artist or an entrepreneur or somebody out there, like, what tools do you really, you know, lean on to stay positive?
To stay positive?
Yeah.
You know, that's a really tough question. That's a really good question. It's a really hard question for me to answer because I have been so blessed in this journey that I met people at the very beginning who supported me. You know, Nick and Cam, who supported me, you know, 2000%. And basically, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it, because seriously, you guys, everybody watching, when I look at these paintings, I don't even know how I'm doing this. It has all happened so quickly and so fast. I don't really have time to do anything. There's so many things going through my head every day. If you look at Jazz Man, that's a perfect example of what the inside of my head looks like. It's just so much going on, so many thoughts, ideas, colors, patterns. You know, I listen to my music, you know, and that keeps me very, very positive. There's certain exercises I have to do. Like, I don't watch television. I don't watch the news. I try to keep any kind of negativity away from me. I stay focused on my message. I ride my bike every day. I work out every day. I try to keep a healthy mind and, you know, eat all those kinds of things that, you know, but it is easy to go down the rabbit hole if you start getting, especially when you have a really intense message like mine, because you know, I'll see things that will make me angry, and then I have to think, okay, how can I turn that negativity, that darkness into light?
And so artist that you hear of, or, you know, I need to go through a dark space, or these paintings are coming from a really, you know, big growing, you know, a space of growth in my life and a dark moment in my life, and they translate that into their music or art or whatever. And I find with you is that, you know, we all have gone through that. You've gone through those experiences, but your work remains really positive, and the messages, I think, are beautiful. And I think digging into what you're trying to communicate with them is something that I wanted to dig into even more.
Well,
So
you
what
know,
you take away from your work when they see it, either quickly or if they purchase a painting and they're able to live with it, what messages would you like them to take away?
I want the number one message is that you know, we're taught from birth, fight, 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 win, win, win. But here's the thing: life is not a game to be won or lost. Life is a gift. It's about doing the right thing. That's what I want people to take away from my paintings. That there is nothing more profound in human consciousness than the journey of the human life. It is unprecedented. It's unrepeatable. It is remarkable, and it is breathtaking.
Mm-hmm.
Forgotten what it means to be human and what a gift life is, that we can look up into the universe and ask questions and seek answers. That is a gift that no other species that we know of has been given in the entire. That's what I want people. I want people to think. I want people to educate themselves. That's what I'm trying to inspire people to do.
Well, I love that your artist statement says, every life is a message to the world. My art is my message to you.
Absolutely. It's just that simple. I could have written a two-page a two-page synopsis on my It's just not that. That's not what it is for me. The painting is the means to an end, and the end for me is my message, is the story. That is the number one more important to me than staying on the color wheel, or not breaking any rules, or I don't care about the painting process as much as I care about what I'm saying to people. And, you know, the first thing that people always ask me when they see my paintings is, what does it mean? What does it mean? That is what an epic gift I have been given, that people ask me that question when they see my paintings. So, and I'm more than happy to tell them what it means, because I do have a very specific intention or purpose with them.
Sure. So I know you're constantly working and creating, but are there any interesting things coming up that you can share with us?
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a project in Beverly Hills. There'll be an announcement on that on Tuesday. And then I have my project with you on ArtStage, which I'm very humbled and honored to be a part of.
Oh, I'm excited too.
You've just been such a blessing, to not only to me, but to Cameron and Nick as well. You know, just coming into the LA market it's treacherous.
Yeah, it can't be sure. So you mentioned Palm Springs. So you were in Palm Springs for a while, and now you're in LA. How do you, I mean, can you describe the contrast of how your work maybe has changed or evolved from moving from Palm Springs back to Los Angeles?
Yeah, I'm finding that I'm more relaxed here. I'm in a better space. First of all, just physically, I'm in a really, really beautiful,
where a lot more is happening as well.
Yeah, I'm a lot more inspired here. I have a lot more space to create. Yeah, I'm just calmer. I'm in a calmer space,
Mm-hmm.
and physically and creatively here in Los Angeles. But there's also a sense of, like, I want to get my work out there. You know, I have a bit that I worked on called Caged, about standing up, stepping forward, and speaking out. I'm anxious to get that out into the public arena and have a conversation about that, and having a conversation about artists' rights. You know,
Love that. Talk about that a little bit.
yeah, I'm just, there has been a lack of respect for art and creativity since the dawn of mankind, all the way back to the Hollywood 10 and Charlie Chaplin, who was exiled from America because they said he was a communist. He left on vacation, and then let him back in the country because he was creating films and writing stories and starting a dialogue about equality and acceptance and tolerance. And the United States government did not like that anti-war talk. They didn't like it. And so they attacked, the Hollywood 10, who were all put in prison for a year. And then Charlie Chaplin, who was like the biggest star at the time. He was like a Madonna or a Lady Gaga at his time. He started United Artists Pictures. So, and then you have what's going on currently with Britney Spears. I mean, you know, you can't choose what you eat or where you go or who you talk to or anything else, but we want you to go make millions of dollars for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's unacceptable human behavior, and it's a lack of respect to the artist and artist rights and copyrights. And I could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
So
that's something that we could definitely talk more about. I feel like, you know, what you've been able to do and what what I'm hearing is that, you know, you're hearing all those messages, which there's a lot of negativity and chaos surrounding you, but you've remained very focused and positive on the messages that you want, you know, your collectors really to receive from you. And I don't know, I think as far as like advice to any artists out there that are getting started, or, you know, whether established artists or, you know, in art school, I know we have people that watch these educational these videos. So what would you say to them?
Well, a few things. First off, what's your intention? What's your purpose? What is your motivation for creating your art? I think that's important. Then creating something, a style that's instantly recognizable, so that when someone walks into a room and your painting is there with 10 other painters, artists, can they pick your painting out immediately, right? So, and then, you know, just don't give up.
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's difficult and it's hard. But I think if you have a great message and a great technique, and you have passion for what it is, whatever it is you're doing in your life, whether it's being an artist or whatever you're doing in your career, then you'll rise above. You'll rise above.
Yeah, I like that, Kev. That's great advice, and something that, you know, I think also surrounding yourself with really positive people that are your champions, and recognizing those people that come into your path. You know, I think, you know, it's giving yourself permission to do what you really believe is best for you, and following your passion, and you're definitely doing that. So,
you know, I understand what I'm trying to say and do as well. You know, it's you know, and we see this all the time in the art business, in any business, in any career, people trying to tell you how to create your art, or what to say, or don't say this, or, you know, you have to stay true to yourself. That's another really good piece of advice. Stay true to who you are, and don't let people try to, because they may not be doing it intentionally, they may be doing it unintentionally, but just stay true to yourself and your message and what you want to say and how you want to say it. Yeah. A lot of information, right? You know, it's like when I started painting, I had people telling me these exact things, and I'm like having to check off the list. Am I doing this? Am I doing that? But you know what? It worked.
Yeah,
it worked.
Well, I am thrilled that we had this conversation. We try to keep these around 30 minutes, and we're already at that point. But I think
crazy how fast it goes.
Kevin, like, one, you're a joy to know, and I'm glad that, you know, we're friends, that we're collaborating on this project. And for those of you that joined late, please go to artstager.shop. You can see 2 works by Kevin on ArtStager, and he has an announcement that's going to come up, I guess, on Tuesday, right, for exhibition in the city of Beverly Hills. So anyway, Kevin, thank you so much. I'll let you now.
Took time out of their listen.
Okay. And I'll archive this, everybody, on my IGTV, and it'll be posted on thinkingofart.com in the next few days. So you can go back and watch it and share with friends, and reach out to Kevin as well directly. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Kevin.
It's for
always.
me, guys. All right.
Okay.
Bye.